Hello everyone, this is Amanda McGuire and this is my week 6 discussion board for MPA 594. This week's discussion I'm going to be talking about 4 concepts we have not yet reviewed in our comp preparation course, 2 from GPA and 2 from PSML. The 2 from GPA that I chose were market failure and 4 steps to the budget cycle. And the 2 from PSML were managing generations and the idea of one-size-fits-all management. And the second was attribution theory. For the GPA concepts and whether or not they can be used to answer a standard question, such as the one, are public and private organizations alike in all unimportant ways, or how are they different? First, with the concept of market failure. A market failure is the result of an unmet need by the market, or in other words, when the demand outweighs the supply. For a public organization, they have a responsibility to the people to correct the failure. The government has a responsibility to correct a market failure. For example, when the cost of higher education became too high, the federal government created grant and loan programs to make higher education obtainable for the general public. Unlike the government, private organizations do not have the same obligation. For example, a private college does not concern itself with affordability so much as it does the quality of the education. So while the mission of the two may be the same in providing education, how they do so is how they are different. And then with the 4 steps of the budget cycle, in order to create a public good, such as the student loan program or grants, the public organization is also subject to the restrictions of budget. For checks and balances and transparency, the public organization creates a budget which follows the 4 steps of the budget cycle: preparation, adoption, implementation, and evaluation. Preparing a budget based on what the needs of the public are, adopting a budget voted in based on feasibility and efficiency, implementing that budget or spending the money, and then reviewing the efficiency and effectiveness of that budget, and finally preparing for the next budget cycle. Whereas a private organization can adjust their budget as they see fit, increasing their prices to meet their needs, all within reason, of course. So before I move on to PSML, I would like to assist those that would like to use these concepts in their own exam and where I found them. So for market failure, this came from our political economy class, or MPA 585, which used the Economics of the Public Sector book by Stiglitz and Rosengard. And this is both on page 86 and 102, and it was also discussed in the week 1 lecture for those that had Dr. Teleria. And then for the 4 steps of the budget cycle, this was in our public finance and budgeting class, or MPA 530, and there was both a YouTube video that was provided with us for us, as well as found in chapter 2 of the book, I believe, Fiscal Administration, Analysis, and Applications for the Public Sector by Mike Sell. Now looking at the 2 PSML concepts and how they can be related to a standard PSML question, when making a change in a public organization, there is Gulick's POSCOR to consider as a guide. In particular for this discussion is the managerial step of staffing. One of the 2 PSML concepts associated with staffing is the management of different generations. The workforce of a public organization consists of traditionalists, baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, and millennials. Each are motivated differently, have different work goals and skill sets. For example, baby boomers are dedicated to the mission and motivated by salary, where Generation X and Y are goal-oriented and motivated by job security and maintaining a work-life balance. With this in mind, management and management or leadership styles need to adapt, particularly during a change. When a traditionalist may struggle with a change in routine, and a millennial will adapt more independently. So the traditionalist may need a more directive style leader, and the millennial a more laissez-faire or collaborative leader. Also, during a change, conflict may arise, which may come from different sources. Attribute theory explains the different possible causes of conflict: blameworthiness, global issue, intent, assumption, selfishness, and stability. Identifying the attributes of conflict also can be tied to the different generations of staff. For example, a Generation X individual motivated by security may find conflict in a change that appears to be unstable in its implementation. Then that would lead to them feeling unsure of their job security. Understanding these two concepts will help with the management of staff through change. So should anybody want to find these concepts for PSML under Managing Generations, this was from our Public Personnel Management or MPA 540 class, found under the Week 4 Learning Activities, a video by our Dr. Sundstrom, actually, very helpful. There's a link there for you. Also for attribution theory, this was Conflict Resolution and Labor Negotiation or MPA 545. This would be found in Chapter 1, about page 4 of the Collaborative Approaches to Resolving Conflict book by Eisenhart and Spengel. And that's all I have for this week. Thank you very much.